Hello, everyone, and welcome along to the ROONS MIZZ podcast. This is episode 4, where we come live to you every Friday to talk about all things Arsenal. So I'm ROONS.
And I'm Miz.
And today, what do we got on the docket today, Miz?
Yeah, we're going to recap the game at Fulham last week, that resounding 3-0 win. We're going to briefly chat about Aubameyang, contract signed. We're going to look at any transfers going in and out between now and the window closing in the next 12 days or 15 days is October 5th. And we're going to look ahead to West Ham tomorrow, the midday game for us here on the West in the U.S. and then the 8:30 game there. Let's get going. Let's dive into it. Fulham.
Start the timer and let's go.
Boom.
Fulham. So what'd you think?
We were right. Our prediction, both of us said 3-0. We were spot on. Not always going to be right on the prediction of the score. It's always hard to predict a Premier League game. But we knew it. We play well there. They had very few chances. They weren't really in the game, I didn't think, for the most part. Arsenal looked sturdy.
Definitely. I mean, there was that one hiccup in the very beginning, almost the second minute, where they passed it back, and Gabriel thought that Leno was going to get it, and there was that second where, if they would have scored, our season could have gone, could have been just ultimate disaster. But Leno
from the beginning,
but Leno came up clutch, stuffed the dude, and it was okay, Leno's back. You know what I mean? Same old Leno. He's not rusty. He really is as good as we thought he was. He didn't lose any of that spark that he had, which is awesome. They sorted it out, and then Gabriel went on to have a really good game, scored. I mean, the importance of him scoring.
Yeah, what a debut.
Seriously. I mean, you score on your debut, if you're a forward, that's great.
Yeah.
If you're a center back, that's even more great. And, I mean, you think about Virgil van Dijk. He came in, he really changed everything for Liverpool, but he also gets goals.
He does.
That's an important part of a center back that is of the highest caliber.
Totally.
You got the John Terrys, Sergio Ramos, they're a threat in the box scoring headers, and that just puts more pressure on other teams. They think man, this guy's blocking all of our offense and he scores goals. It's just not fair. So
and we need and what a boost for him. You can't ask for a better start. You get a clean sheet, you win 3-0 and you score as a defender. I mean, he's going to be flying high going into this season. He was only on the team for a week and got a start in the first game. Looked like because of injuries and stuff, but it proves he'll just dive right in now. I think he'll get comfortable quickly and probably start to adapt to life in London easily.
Definitely. I mean, you need that icebreaker moment as a player.
That's it right there for him.
Okay, now I'm ready. Now I can focus. Now my nerves are on the butterflies.
Pressure's off. You know that when you play the first game with somebody as a new team, you're always a little. You can either play really well or you can be a little shaky, and you just want to make sure you do everything cleanly through the game and not make as little errors as possible in the first game. And he did that. He played really. I thought he looked like a good defender.
And as a lone center back, we played 3-4-3, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was solo back there.
That's putting a lot of.
It was a Premier League debut on your own in the middle there, guy.
Yeah, and to score, and then after that, I mean, we never really looked pressured.
No, I mean,
we did exactly what I hoped for, which was to make Fulham seem like they're not that big of a team. We never really felt under pressure. We didn't really have to exert tons of energy. It never turned into a scrap. It was just a nice kind of casual, went through the game. I mean, the tempo was high, but, there was no worries. It was never –
they were never on the back. They were never on the back foot. They were never struggling to find themselves in the match. Yeah. Another performance, and super thrilled about it as well, as Willian. I mean, what a debut for Arsenal in the Premier League. 3 assists out of the 3-0. I mean, you can't ask for a better first game for a team.
Yeah, and a better justification for why we got him.
Why did they sell it? Why did they sell him? Or why did they let him go for free? I mean, that's a crazy one to me.
Well,
Even a lot of pundits have been talking about it, saying, what were they thinking?
yeah. Well, I didn't. It didn't seem like Lampard really cared for him that much. He was probably like, "We
Mm,
need to move on" or whatever. But I think they would have kept him. He just got a bunch of different offers, and it was more of like, who is he going to choose? I
yeah,
think he would have said like, really, I want to stay. They probably would have given him another brief contract or something like
I
that.
think they wanted to give him 2 years, and he wanted a 3-year deal. He
Yeah,
liked Arsenal because he didn't have to move his family. I guess his family's really happy with the kids, like their school,
yeah.
and but man, he looks settled. Like I follow Aubameyang and Lacazette on Instagram. They're like tagging him in stories, and they're dancing in the locker room. They look settled. They look like they're friends already,
Singing
and
in Portuguese.
yeah, they're like they already gelling, and I think that that's Aubameyang, and we can get to him in the next category, but that he brings that to the team. Um,
Absolutely.
so
And
that's a huge highlight.
yeah, the goal that Aubameyang scored,
Oh my
that was,
word!
that was pretty much all Willian. I mean, amazing,
Yeah,
absolutely amazing goal
that
from
touch through the
Aubameyang.
dude's legs in the middle of the park was
Yeah,
like so clean. It
and just
was
that awareness to jump on that ball, to just
yep,
jump on it, move through, and then already see Aubameyang pass it. Like
yep.
smart. He made the right play, made the clutch play. He was proactive in his movement, and that's something that we just see Arsenal players in the past decade just not be able to do. And
Yeah,
you see
that's
players
definitely.
like Alexis who are just so frustrated because they're like, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. Like just jump on that ball, get it, pass it. Don't mess up. He got the ball. He passed it perfectly to Aubameyang. He didn't mess up. He didn't pass it somewhere else. He didn't wait and look around. Like that's an
Oh,
experience.
the ball was on the money on the dime. Like he landed it at his feet, and Aubameyang settled and took it on like the third touch.
And tucked it up for 90. Just
It was it was
beautiful goal.
beautiful. Yeah. Spectacular finish. I mean, what a goal to get in the first game of the season for you as well. So, I mean, that system looks to be something that Arteta's implemented, that switching the field quick on the long to Aubameyang. Saka did it as well in the FA Cup final.
It was
And
pretty much the same
exact same.
copy goal.
It was from that same spot in the
Yeah.
middle of the field, right in their half on that side. Switch the field to Aubameyang.
Yeah.
Tuck in, take the shot. That's why he's on the left over there.
Yeah.
I love that. I think it's people are going to struggle with it.
Yeah. I mean, it's pure. You can see the tactics. You can see that they've talked about it. You can see the execution. And even if players know, okay, they're going to try to pass it to Aubameyang and he's going to bring it in and shoot. It's just like Robin. Arjen Robben used to take it in from the right and just rip it to the far post and score.
Yeah.
And he kept doing it. And you're like, he's going to do it. Why don't you stop him? But it's because you can't.
You can't, and they're going to keep and like Robin just used to keep taking an extra touch and beating you that other time. So
Yeah.
he always had that move, and I think that that's what this move will do. It's going to evolve. They're going to play the ball through. They're going to play the ball around. They're going to play it behind. They're going to play it over the top. Like that system is going to work, and then they're probably going to introduce Pepe to it from the other side because he'll tuck in from that side.
Yeah, who has that Robin-esque, from the right curl in, and which he's done how many times already? He did that numerous times last season.
Yeah.
And teams are going to be just frightened. And yeah, exactly. You made a great point that now we have a weapon. So they're going to be expecting him to shoot far post, and all he has to do is slot it in for Tierney to run in overlap, or another player running in, or Lacazette in the middle, or now we have options to score.
Yep.
With real danger. So
yeah, you open up the field a lot with that, and it's interesting because you're right. Like Tierney could break off to the left, he could play the ball down the line, he could play the ball through to Laka, whether that's a square pass or whether it's a through ball, depending on how deep they are. And yeah, it's going to open up so many different ways. You could tuck the ball back into the 18, have the center mid, whoever that might be coming in, and just hit one from there. They're going to score goals. They're going to score. This Arsenal team is starting to shape up like Liverpool and City with the attackers that they have in their top line. We have world-class, top-class players in the front of the park finally at Arsenal. It's been a long time.
For sure. And we have an abundance of them.
Yeah, we got like 5.
Yeah, we have players.
If not more, like the kids as well. Like you can't discount like Martinelli and Saka and Reece Nelson and Willock, all these guys that like are ballers in their own way, and they're going to struggle to get into this first team now, which is a good thing for all of them. They're going to be that Fulham game. They look, Fulham was never in the game, but the way that this Arsenal team's firing right now, a lot of teams are going to struggle against us. We're going to surprise a lot of teams right now.
Yeah. I mean, Fulham got promoted. I think they won the championship. Am I correct?
They did, yeah.
That is not easy, and that's
or
and
did
there's
Leeds?
obvious
Did Leeds win it? Leeds won it.
Leeds won it.
Yeah. Fulham was one of the other ones.
They qualified.
Yeah.
I mean, they got promoted. That's really hard. Obviously, there's a massive difference between the championship and the Premier League.
Yeah.
But if you let it happen, those teams can really be so hard to beat. They can drag you down. They can make it really tough for you. And we just skirted that by just playing how we should and playing well. And it's just like it was light and easy, and we got a comfortable win. +3 goal differential. I don't think we had that. I don't know what we ended with the goal differential last year, but we were in the negative territory.
It wasn't good. It wasn't good. Yeah, it wasn't good. That's for sure. Our stats last year are just not in the right direction. Yeah. So I think Arteta's kind of curved a lot of that, and we'll see a lot of improvements right now. People start taking us a lot more seriously. But yeah, you're right. Like that's the beauty about the Premier League is there's no easy game. All 20 teams are good. They're very good, and you'll lose to any of them on your day. Even the teams that are getting relegated can beat you, and you just don't.
Important. You're dialed in with how you play to avoid that situation where it turns into a dogfight.
Yeah, like we're playing West Ham. We're playing West Ham tomorrow. That could be a tough game,
for sure.
And we'll talk about that later in the show. But that any of these matches, Fulham, you always worry about the smaller teams that you go visit. Norwich, Stoke, when they used to be in the Premier League, was always very tough to beat. Strong team, West Brom, all these like Midlands teams, they're tough.
Yeah.
Whole City when they were in were extremely hard to beat.
Yeah, just physical.
Yep.
Tough teams with solid players. Not the most flashy, but you really
they get the job done. They know how to play. They know how to play the game, and they get it done.
Right. So, what do you think of the lineup? The lineup and subs and who played and format.
Yeah, it was good. I'm surprised that El Neni is just all right in this team, and I still think I don't know that he'll be in the first team just with the transfers talk about who's coming in and who might go still, but I mean, it's good to see that he's even filling into a spot that he could play a part throughout the season, whether that's cup games or somebody is hurt or they want to rotate some things. I really liked the top 3 of Aubameyang, Laka, and Willian.
Yeah, and great that Laka scored too. Even it wasn't like the most fantastic goal or something, but he did what a striker needs to do. He's off the mark. You know what I mean? Like he's off the mark. I've already scored. I scored the first goal in the Premier League of this season. I already got one under my belt. He'd break that kind of that ice for him as a striker, which is wonderful.
Because he had a dry spell last year, so he'll enjoy that right there. That first one of the season. Scoring
the first game of the season as a striker, you're just like, okay,
here we go. Yeah,
it's really the hardest one. Okay, it bounced to me, but I finished it. I didn't mess it up.
Yeah, you get a huge boost from that.
Yeah, and it's great.
Anytime it's interesting. Yeah, strikers, they need to get the goals. They need to get the goals to keep the confidence, and that breeds more goals. So good. He looks happy too, and I think he's going to stay. The Aubameyang stuff, he looked like they must have worked out a deal to keep him as well as part of the deal. And
in a post-match interview, he said that it's just the media who says that he wants to leave. But
he doesn't want to leave.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing with Aubameyang. If he goes to a different team, he's not going to find life easier.
No.
Not going to all of a sudden be like, he's going to Barcelona and playing playing every game, and he's going to have to fight. If he goes to Atletico Madrid, for example, he's going to have to fight for his position just as much as at
Oh yeah,
Arsenal. And he's
yeah.
already here. He has a good friend in Aubameyang. The
Oh yeah.
club loves him.
Yeah, I mean, on the Instagram live that Arsenal did the other day when Aubameyang signed, which we'll get into in a minute, they joined the live chat together, Laka and Aubameyang, and we're just like talking about the team and that he's congratulating that they're going to celebrate. I mean, you don't do that together on those two without like him wanting to stay there. Like the team knows what's going on.
They were going to sell him or something like that.
They would never do that. They would never agree to that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
One thing.
A great game. Yeah. What did you make of that game?
Well, that's about it. But the one thing I just wanted to add about the lineup or the formation.
Yeah.
Like I would like to see our mid. It almost seems like our defense and our midfield are all defensive. You know, like you see our midfield, we have 2 defensive mids, center mids, and then was it Bellerin and Maitland-Niles? Did they start? Yeah. Like those are wing backs, but like almost more defensive minded. You know, they both really played.
Yeah. We need that more attacking midfielder though. So that's maybe coming as well.
Yeah.
In the form of a new player. So it looks like we'll get to that.
But even so, the idea of having like 2 layers of defense, and then because we have such a good front line of strikers that you can really do that. And when you think about that, that settles our defense. You know, we used to be like, oh, we don't defend and stuff. Like now we have 2 layers of defense, and then just great firepower up top. That's kind of a good format.
Yeah, totally agreed. I think, and add a little more attacking in there, and we got a good system. They're defending well, which is good.
For sure. All right, what's next on the list?
Aubameyang. He signed the thing.
Signed the thing. Finally. I don't know what the wait was about, because it seemed like, I mean, Arteta kept saying like, I'm very positive. You don't have to worry. Like he was pretty much saying he already signed the thing, you know? But why they waited, I guess it doesn't matter. The most
I mean, he probably was exploring his options to be. I mean, you probably would, wouldn't you?
I mean, wouldn't you love to know for sure though? Like what?
Yeah,
what were his concrete options? Who was really asking?
Well, we saw Barcelona made a bid, they formally bid. Like I saw it was on Sky Sports yesterday. It formally bid for him, and he turned it down and wanted to stay. So he
how much? You know?
They didn't put a dollar figure in there.
Really interesting to know.
I bet you it was 20 plus at least. It must have been higher than that. So like
I would hope so. You know?
Yeah, you would hope so.
We sold Aubameyang for something in the 20s or 30s would be a real gut.
And for sure. Hey, that's way too low. I also think that he probably knew he wanted to stay and was doing that, but was exploring any options that could arise in case and discussing new wage demands. He's now the highest paid player above Mesut Ozil, rightfully so in this regard, because he at least produces season after season, game after game. He's, knock on wood, rarely injured.
Yeah.
Like how that dude is so fit and somehow keeps himself very healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't really recall a game of him missing from injury.
No, and we can't underestimate that, and his output. I think people, like the masses, are finally starting to realize it. You know, he came in and started scoring goals. You know,
he was good before he was good before he came. He was good in the Bundesliga. We knew that. Like he was solid there. He was a baller when he showed up. Like now he'll become a legend. Like
sure.
That signing that is huge. It's a boost for the club. It's a new signing. We signed a new forward this week. His name's Aubameyang, and we're keeping him till 2023.
Best signing of the window, you know?
For sure. That's a boost to the team in general, and it's going to give us a boost to sign other players. Now they're talking about Hassan Aouar and Partey very seriously, and so it'll bring people and make the team better. And I think he has a big say as the captain too. I think he's really good and healthy for the team. He's like one of the happiest people I've ever seen.
I mean,
I mean, I hope he's that way in real life. He shows it online that he's
it
super
seems
happy.
like he always laughing, has that
Yeah,
infectious laugh, always
yeah,
positive. I mean, just if there's a talisman for any team, it's Aubameyang. You know, he
yeah.
represents more even than who he is on the pitch, which
Mhm.
few players can really do that. You know, few players can transcend what they do on the pitch. And what he does on the pitch is absolutely invaluable. He's so consistent. Like you said, doesn't get injured. I don't like who would you put above him as a better striker in the world? You could say Messi and
Messi,
Ronaldo,
Ronaldo. Yeah, I mean,
but he's right
he's
there.
there. He's there.
Lewandowski,
Yeah,
but he is,
Lewandowski. Yeah,
yeah,
if
he
you
is.
put all of them, all four of those players would be interchangeable between teams and would still score goals no matter where they're playing.
Yeah,
Like, and that's what he'll always do. He's a natural goal scorer. Like he just understands where the goal's at and knows how to put it in there.
seriously. That shot that he does from the outside, the inside out far post shot.
Very, very
He was doing that.
Henri, very
Yeah,
Henri like.
yes. And he just
Yeah,
does like ding, and
yeah.
it just goes in, you know, and he makes it look so easy. And did you know too that he has in the FIFA rankings, he's faster than Salah.
Yeah, he's really
He has
quick.
94 and Salah has a 93.
That's amazing.
Like, that is because he doesn't really, his positioning is so good.
Yeah.
And he never has to make like a 100-yard sprint to beat someone. Like Salah will just, you know, come from nowhere and just, you know, zoom across the screen. And Aubameyang doesn't really do that. So I think people kind of underestimate him, you know?
Oh, but when he gets going, he's quick. He's going to beat in a short race. Like he could have been an Olympic runner for sure. He's like lengthy. He's almost a mix of Henri and Bergkamp in his style of how he touches the ball and finishes. Like he kind of settles the ball like in the air like Bergkamp, and then brings it in like Henri, like that United goal where he like turned on the volley. And it's just he does things like both of them. It's really interesting. He really fits into our style of play. So that's a huge boost with him staying. I mean, he should try to get the Golden Boot award again. He's definitely going to be up there. He has a good season. He started off with he's been scoring some incredible goals and started off with another incredible one. And
doesn't look like he's slowing down anytime soon. Such a boost for the team, like you said. And he mentioned that Arteta spoke with them a lot. You know, this is the third or fourth player who said Arteta spoke with me and convinced me.
Yeah,
he seems be underestimated. Like, so I was reading something too that like, did you see that scout who got Fabregas and Van Persie left, which is
terrible.
You know, sign of poor management from the Kroenkes.
As usual.
But he was saying that like they were trying to get Messi. You know, they had made a bid. It's well known that Ronaldo had spoken with Wenger and was like, "Yeah, I'm going to go to Arsenal." Like he in his mind thought he was going to Arsenal, but
he was on his way or something.
Yeah, and so was PK. PK was going to come to Arsenal too.
Mm-hmm.
But what happened was Ferguson spoke with them and changed their mind. He had the ability to just talk to you and convince you that, no, we have what it takes to be the best. You should come to us. Like maybe that other team is just saying like, oh yeah, we'd love to have you, blah, blah, but he comes and says that magic word that gets them to be like, oh, actually, no, I'm going to go over with these guys because they're going to win. They have what it takes. This dude's convinced me. It's not just, oh, come here and let's see what happens and this could be great and we'll have lots of fun. It's like, no, I know where I'm going to put you. We have other players who are going to support you and we're going to win. And
he has that touch. I think he did it with Gabriel. He did it with Aubameyang. I'm pretty sure he's talking to every one of them. Like he's probably having very detailed conversations, even with the players leaving. I think that even if you were a player leaving an Arteta team, he would probably be the kind of manager that would be like, hey, listen, you're a great player. you're not I don't have you in the plans for my future with this team, but that doesn't mean that you're not going to be great somewhere else. And I bet you he would facilitate moves for people. Like, he's not that kind of manager that's going to ice people out. He's you can just tell from the outside right now that that's what he's doing. Like, the touch on Aubameyang, yeah, he talked to him a lot. That's why I saw that same report, like, about it, where he's making sure that he convinces the players and tells them his plans moving forward. This is what we're doing, and this is how you fit in. And this is where I see you playing. And this is, I'm aiming to win this. Yeah, he told Willian he wants to win Champions League in 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like Aubameyang said too, that he told him, he's like, I'll be honest with you. And they appreciate the honesty, because he is just an honest dude full of integrity, Arteta. But he was like, you can go somewhere else and try to get more trophies. You know, like, you can go to Barcelona and you'll probably win trophies.
Champions League. Yeah.
But here you'll have a legacy. And he said that's what, you know, like, he knows what to tell people. It's not the same thing with every person, but he knows what to tell people that make them say, oh, he's like, you know, you can have a statue here. You can be one of the greats with Bergkamp and Henry. You go to Barcelona, you're not going to get that. Yeah, you'll probably will win trophies. There's a great
get some more money.
With Barcelona being where they're at right now. They could still win La Liga. You know what I mean? Like, they're still good enough on paper to win La Liga. But you're not going to get a trophy there, or a statue. And he told him that, and that's what changed his mind. Like, he knows what to say to get people to stay. And then Aubameyang signing the thing just reinforces this whole project. You know, people are believing in something more than just playing on the pitch. You know, it's a philosophy and a culture.
Something's changed. Our culture's changed. You're right. Like, something we've always loved this team, and that's a part of it. Is like the type of fans that we have are cool. Whenever I meet Arsenal fans, I always like Arsenal fans. That's not the case for other teams. Like, we're always nice to other people, and some of them are just not the same. I like a lot of United supporters. They're great people too. Like, but you know, the culture is changing. Like, how they announced Aubameyang the other day was something we've never done in the past. They put it on Instagram Live as like the team, and had the pen sitting there in the contract, and like showed it, and like and let Aubameyang film it himself, and it just, the whole presentation of the entire thing shows that this like bigger view of the system that play is a better program moving forward, and that they're confident of what they're going to do. The whole system looks to be more in tune. Like, the kits look better, the training wear looks better, like, they look more professional. Like, the overall thing has like shifted. So
the media, I mean, for so many years our media was just so bland, and it's like, you guys realize that, like, now there's Instagram and Facebook, and like, you kind of have to court that, whatever it is, to keep an edge. You have to court every possible outlet, you know, and be the best at that. If you really want to be the best, you have to be the best at everything, you know. And that's always changing. There's always more things, and it seemed like Arsenal was really slow to pick up on where the game was heading, where the world was heading, where the league and the culture around it was heading, and they're finally starting to kind of wake up to that, which, like you said, it's just great to see, because it creates this momentum that is more than just the players, but it makes the other team think about it when they come on the field to face Arsenal. Now they're facing, wow, they have this full setup. They have this wonderful stadium, and the media and these big players, and people are talking about them, and, you know. So
it's getting the fans back involved really well, because, like, I know we've had some disgruntled fans for a long time on a number of spending issues. The Cronkies, we want the owners to sell, and
including myself. For
me
sure.
too. As well as me. Like, I think that they should sell and let somebody else that actually cares about the team move forward. Someone that has a better interest. So whoever, I don't know if it's Arteta and Edu's influence, but they've at least moved the brand forward positively, whether that's with the Cronkies or without them. Like, I think that they're probably doing it a little bit on their own and being creative. So they're obviously making moves in the window too, and something we haven't really seen them do before. Be very decisive and quick about things, and they seem to be handling their business more efficiently with better signings like than they have done in the past.
Yeah. Just setting the tone with decisiveness, like you said. And Arteta talks about the non-negotiables and just like putting a line in the sand and saying, this is what I demand from everyone. This is what's going to happen. There's no way around it. You have to be at this level to be on the team. And that just creates that sense of accountability that you need everywhere in life. But it was really missing in Arsenal for a long time. There are players who would play and you're just like, why is he playing? You know, why did they choose? There's so many question marks. Like you can look
Squillaci.
at Squillaci. You know, I mean,
if you know that name, you're a true fan, and he's not the caliber of player we should have ever had.
And you know our pain. You know that name.
That dude. I don't know how that dude's a professional football player, let alone ever came to Arsenal.
Yeah, but I mean, even a few years ago, they would put, you know, Xhaka or El Neni on the pitch, and you'd be like, why are they playing? You know.
Yeah.
And now you just don't have any questions. Like, yeah, I would like to see a creative midfielder, or I'd like to see a more, you know, I'd like to see a midfield that wasn't pure defense, just theoretically.
Yeah.
But I'm not asking a question, why is Bellerin playing? Or I'm not asking, why did they put Maitland-Niles in there, you know?
Well,
like
all of them are going to perform, and if they don't perform, they're not going to play. So, I mean, I think Arteta is making no excuses or no qualms to that. Like, if you're not performing, you're not in his system. Like, Ozil's just not, like, involved. He's
not going to
again.
happen.
Yeah, and I mean, we're moving into the transfer section here in a second, I'm sure, right there on the buzzer.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we got some movement coming and going. I saw, you know, we let Martinez go, 20 million, and I saw this morning that there was a tactical decision by Arteta and Edu that they wanted, you know, they made a choice to sell him to free up some funds, and it looks like they're really going after Hassam Aouar. Like, publicly, they've expressed interest. They've made a bid. I've seen that they've agreed personal terms already.
Yeah.
And that they just need to work out the fee between Lyon and Arsenal. And I think Guendouzi might be going in the opposite direction as part of it.
Yeah. Well, I saw on a Arsenal training video, they like had Guendouzi talking to Aubameyang and Pepe. And it was like, oh, he's, you know, they're actually like focusing on him. That's kind of strange. But I still think if we can somehow make him work, that would be great. But Aouar is a hot name right now. He really impressed a lot of people in the Champions League last season.
Mm-hmm.
He would be a significant signing for us psychologically for other teams, because it'd be like, oh man, they got that guy. You know, he's
22. He's 22.
22 has a long career ahead of him.
Yeah.
He seems like the type of player that fits Arteta's system. Hardworking midfielder with, you know, creative abilities. So it would be really exciting. And yeah, I heard that he agreed personal terms, but Lyon seems to be a tough team to negotiate with, and that they set a price and you have to hit that price. You have the Kroenkes who, did you see this report? It was mentioned that they did like a deep dive into the books of all the clubs to see what the owners of their own money had put in to each team.
Oh, geez.
And we had a negative £6 million every year.
Yeah.
They're taking money out.
They're taking money, yeah. They've always been doing that.
Haven't put in a single cent. And you have, I think Tottenham was in the hundreds of millions.
Yeah, and they're not even that, like, wealthy of a club. It's like,
no, it's crazy. And
it's frustrating in general that they're just over here spending money on the Chargers and whatever endeavors that he's working on. They just balance all these teams that are just mediocre for the most part. So I wish that they would leave. They need to. They're the one bringing the club down in general.
And I mean, you have to take that into consideration, which no one really does. That we're the only big club in the world who has still managed to be a big club and win trophies with literally zero investment.
Yeah.
You look at the other teams that are what they're putting in, what Chelsea is putting in, what Liverpool has put in, what Manchester United has paid in the past 10 years. Then you look at like Barcelona and Real Madrid, and it's like, how do we even compete with those teams? Well, in the past, we haven't really done a good job of that in the past decade or so. But somehow we've built an organic, homegrown, grassroots program that is now challenging for top four, I think, solidly.
Yeah, I think we're going to be up there. This team that we have right now, because we got some players still leaving. I think Socrates is leaving. Mustafi's might be on the way out. Kolasinac is potentially leaving. Guendouzi. Ozil, if they can somehow figure out a way to get him off the books, some creative way. And I think Partey and Aouar are coming in, and Runnerson, or Gunnarsson, or the Icelandic goalkeepers at the training facility. Yeah, he's at the training facility right now, doing his medical. So that was a quick bit of business that they did too. They got rid of Martinez for 20 million, picked up that Icelandic goalie for 1.5, and the rest of the money is going to go towards Aouar and Partey probably. It looks like they're just making better decisions than they used to make. They would have waited to sell Martinez to the last day before, and then we would have gotten nobody, and they would have filled in an academy keeper that wasn't good, and
it would have created tension. Like, also too, like if you have Leno and Martinez fighting for first spot, like most of the time in midfield, you want people fighting for the first spot, But goalie, you don't really want. You need a solid number one as the goalie.
Yeah,
you just need that to be. You don't want a goalie to go in there being like, am I going to get, am I going to be wishy-washy? Because then they let a ball go in between their legs, or you need
their position of confidence is very similar to the forward. Like those two positions have to maintain like an absolute air about yourself.
I'm really the first choice striker.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're not, there is no kind of medium ground there. It's like you're either barely playing or you play all the time.
And then when you're not playing, it's in your head that you're like, damn, I can't score. You have that barrier, and you got to remove that negativity. It's hard for players, and you're right.
He left through the front door with a lot of respect. He's getting a pay raise. It's benefiting him. He'll get to play. It works for all people. And now Leno's like, okay, I'm number one, no doubt. I just started for Germany, so I'm not starting for Germany, who recently won the World Cup, in the foreseeable past. But then I'm going to come here and sit on the bench like that. There's no problems there. He comes in, he slots in perfectly. Already played well, played a good game. We got 20 million for a goalkeeper. Solid bit of business. That's what you do. Sometimes it's hard to let a good player go that you like, but you make it work, and you make the whole situation work.
Yeah, the story this morning that I saw was Arteta felt sad about it. He said, and it was a sacrifice he had to make, that they had to free up money to spend because, like you stated before, the Kroenkes refused to invest any money into the team, so they're literally just balancing the books on what they have to play with, which is not a lot of money, and that's disheartening because you would think with all the investment and money they've made on the stadium over the years that they would have hundreds of millions to spend on players, which other teams are doing. And if we even spend 100 million in a summer window, that's an incredible amount of money for us. We're most likely in the 50, where Chelsea's already at 200 this summer.
And they would every year if it wasn't for financial fair
Financial
play.
fair play,
This
exactly.
kind of thing, like,
Which is now probably not going to be a thing. We can see that City even won their appeal against UEFA or
yeah.
FIFA even about this, and so the financial fair play isn't even really a thing. So they should just remove it then. Like if they're not going to stick to it. So the teams that are out there spending a lot, it shows. It's harder for us for sure, and I wish that they would do something a little differently, but at least the business that they're doing right now is in a positive direction.
And it looks like Torreira is going to be leaving too. And it
Torino,
seems like,
is that where he's going?
well, I heard that a couple clubs want him, so hopefully we can get the price up, you know,
Yep.
and then that could go towards Party and Awar.
Yeah. I think that might be it for business on those two that I've seen reports now. I think Awar and Partey seem more likely now than and we've been talking about Partey for a while, so that one's still around.
Yeah.
But I think they're just negotiating. So
Yeah. Well,
it'd be interesting to see how long that process takes on the back end.
yeah. I mean, there is something about the window that people really let it go to the last week
They
because
do. The prices
maybe
change.
just it's like you're forced to make a decision, like
Mhm.
when you're still kind of feeling it out, but in the last week it's like, are you gonna do it or not? And it makes people just want to sign, or
Mhm.
make a decision.
And
And
it shows what clubs are desperate for money because some of them are wanting to sell those players that are linked with exits, even if
yeah,
they're not
they're bluff.
publicly. They're bluffing. They're like, oh, we don't want to sell them because they're trying to drive the price up. And then the last week they'll let it go for cheaper. And even the last day is always interesting. The moves that are made on the very last day used to get really good. The last few years haven't been as exciting, but maybe we'll get it. This window seems to be a lot of movement going on, so I
Yeah.
think we might be in for a busy last day. Um, and anyone else that you see leaving? Anyone on loan? Any of the younger players?
No, not that I think there's a couple academy players that are wanted by other people. There's a Balogun. Have you heard of him?
Yeah, yeah,
Who's supposed to be, I mean, people talk about him like he was better than,
amazing. Yeah,
yeah. So hopefully we can keep him, you know.
yeah,
The way I
yeah,
see it with these transfers is like, if people aren't offering major money, then why do we need to sell? You
yeah.
know, like it's not going to move the needle one way or the other. So we might
Mm-hmm.
as well keep a player. And that's even like with Kolasinac. And, I mean, if we actually use that money and it's a good amount of money to use toward real signings, then sure,
Yeah,
but
but if
if
it's just a
not,
couple
then
million, yeah,
you need a deep squad.
yeah,
We're gonna need players. Players are gonna get injured. It's a long season, a lot of competitions. Like just getting rid of a player like El Neni, even.
yeah. We got four things we're going for right now to start. So we're in all of them besides Champions League. We're in the Europa League. So it's gonna be busy.
Yeah, and like even to get rid of like El Neni for 10 million. Okay, we got him off the books. We have 10 million. You can't get anyone for that. And then we don't have a player who's been playing. He can slot in. He'd be that utility player. We're gonna need those. So
Mm-hmm.
why sell? You know?
Yep. Yeah.
And like they were talking about, I heard Rob Holding could be loaned
Staying.
to
Oh,
Newcastle, and I was like, why is
I
he
think
going
he's.
on loan?
I think he's staying now. I think the David Luiz injury that puts him out for a couple weeks. Holding staying. I think Holding should stay. Actually, like he's the one. Yeah, I mean Gabriel slid in there really well the first game. Saliba, hopefully we get to see him play soon.
Yeah,
And we got a lot of center backs, and I trust David Luiz back there and Rob Holding. I think that's a good amount of center backs. Maybe keep one more. I would even keep Chambers. Like
Rob Holdinho.
he he seems to be a good character as well. Like at least the team seems to be the players that don't seem involved are the ones that are talking about leaving, like Guendouzi, Torreira, and Ozil. Um, which I wish that we could get Ozil off the books because that would free up a lot of money.
Yeah, what is going on with Ozil? Like one day
Yeah,
we'll know.
hmm
And
just a disgrace to himself, really. Like, really just dragging his own reputation down at this point.
I mean, he was never going to work in a system that is high press, move off the ball. You know,
It's way too
some
fast
coaches
for him.
come in and they're like, okay, used to you could just stand around. Now I want everyone running, and you just know that some players are going to be like that's not how I play though. I kind of just wait around, and when the ball comes to me, then I pass a good through ball for a goal. Like that's my thing. And it's like, well, then you don't fit in here.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see who comes and goes in this last, couple weeks. I think that there's going to be some movement. They've been showing that they're active, and Arteta seems to be wanting to build a system. He has a clear plan and is trying to execute that plan. And he wants the players that are going to do that.
Well, one good thing about even if we don't do any business, either way, out or in, what I'm seeing from the team that we have is quality.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about who we have available to play right now. If that's what we have, obviously we'd love to strengthen. We'd love to get rid of players that aren't really going to fit into the system.
Yep.
But worst case scenario, nothing happens either way. I'm not worried about that. I'm not thinking like, oh man, what are we going to do? I mean, at the beginning of last season, I thought like if we don't get rid of Xhaka, this is going to be the same old Arsenal. We're going to have to deal with this all over again because the dude keeps making mistakes and he keeps starting. And, it's just that constant stress of like, why is this player? Why haven't we gotten rid of this guy? Luckily, Xhaka, I don't feel that way at all about anymore, which is.
I'd like him to stay. He's good.
I mean, there's no talk of him moving and no one wants it. And it's been sorted out, which is a massive coup for Arteta.
He almost left last year just because he got in a fight with the fans. Like, I mean, what a change of personality.
Yeah. I mean, totally turned that situation around.
That's some good management. That's good player management in general from Arteta.
But, we have a strong squad as it is. Even like players like Kolasinac that might be moving on and, they have their foibles, but like they also have potential to do well. And now they have a manager with a system that if they can find some harmony with that system and fit in, they're gonna be good and they have the potential to be good. Kolasinac does, Guendouzi does. El Neni has shown that he can. All these players that before were like, you're out of here, are now all of a sudden players that they could be good players for Arsenal. They have been in the recent past. And if we're stuck with them, it's not this doomsday scenario that it seemed like 12 months ago.
Well, and I think and that's something like even what Aubameyang said the other day was in his interview with Ian Wright, is that they're training different. They're working way harder, and he's demanding a lot from them. Inevitably, you just get better. Like even if the El Neni and Xhaka, like you're held to a higher standard, you just end up playing better overall. Totally. So he's just brought that level up, and there's no you're like second best is not good enough for him. So you have to be performing or you're not selected. So they must be showing something in training to get selected. So El Neni must have come back, showed some stuff. He started a Premier League game. He didn't have to. He could have played Ceballos in there. He was fit enough. I mean, I don't know. You're right. The team isn't weak, and we've shown that. We've beaten Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool. I mean, the way that they're on their form, they're going to be gaining real confidence moving forward. And we're seeing, I think people are starting to notice a little bit. I talked to a couple of buddies this week that were saying that, oh, wow, we're looking like a team that's going to be hard to beat and playing some good football.
For sure. So how about West Ham? Let's move on to the next one.
Yeah.
West Ham, I feel personally it's a very similar situation to Fulham. Like, we have to go and just put them down. You know what I mean? Like, stack them up. I'm going to predict 3-0 again because I feel like that's what it should be. It should be a 3-0, just comprehensive victory with, people scoring that we want to score. We should be in no trouble. That's how I would like it to be. I hope it's the case. West Ham is on shaky ground, and a team with our kind of confidence needs to eliminate any kind of team that's on shaky ground,
At home.
At first home game.
Yep. I'm gonna go similar with you, and I put it in my NBC Sports predictor yesterday as 4-0 because I also agree they should just really
Smash them.
smash them. Yeah, it should be no contest. The way that West Ham's form has been, they got lucky to stay up last season as they normally do in the latter couple years of their tenureship in the Premier League, and they just really there should be no contest tomorrow. If Arsenal keeps playing the way that they've been playing, they're defending well. They're going to go fast forward, and there's going to be goals tomorrow.
Yeah. I don't see West Ham having any real weapons that should trouble us, given our defensive shape, as long as we're compact, which we have been lately.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll have too many weapons for them to handle. So, yeah, 3. I would love 4. 4 would be great.
I think it should be resounding in general. Like, I can't see West Ham really being in the game. And you have to think that they're going to be on a boost. Aubameyang's going to have a huge boost this week. He's going to be pumped. The team is going to be pumped. They started the league well. They only got positivity going into tomorrow. They're going to feel pretty good, and
we have
that's
to
going
really
to
ride that momentum as long as possible, even into the next game against Liverpool. But as long as we can keep it going, I just, keep my fingers crossed, and hope that nothing bad happens. But we have the right momentum. Everything is looking good right now. We just have to live up to that. And I have confidence in the team that they'll do that.
You think he starts with the same lineup?
It seems like he will. It's hard to imagine what he would change. Why would you change that?
Yeah, why, who would you, who gets replaced in that team? Because that seems.
I mean, I want to see Pepe start, and I want to see him become a force that other teams are terrified of. I want to see him up there for Golden Boot.
Mm-hmm. He could be there. I mean, he's very good. He'll get there. I think maybe Willian putting some pressure on him in that sense, because when Pepe did come on last week, he looked good. Yeah. Everybody looked good last week. So if they, you can't say that anyone had a bad game in that whole system. So I'd like to see something similar at least, and maybe he'll tweak something in the middle and see how that rotates. Maybe Ceballos gets a start tomorrow.
Ceballos.
Over El Neni, maybe. Keep Xhaka in the team. Who else would you keep in the middle?
It'd be Xhaka and El Neni or Ceballos.
Yeah.
And then can Saka get a start? Would he have to,
maybe he could play that attacking.
Well, I think with Saka is that he's more offensive minded in the midfield.
Mm-hmm.
And the way he seems to be setting up the team, Arteta, is that if you're you're almost like 4 defensive midfielders, because even the wing players kind of are.
They drop,
Yeah, they drop and pinch in, and
because it plays 3, but really it plays as 5 in the back, because you got those 2 sliding on the wings if they need to be. So it's like a 3 system that moves to 5 defenders fully.
Yeah, so that's probably why Saka will struggle to fit into that kind of system, unless you can put like a left forward, but then you're shifting Aubameyang around, and you still have Pepe and Laka to deal with. So good problems to have in terms of options.
Yeah, we usually don't have that issue with the amount of players we have that could actually do some damage. And then you got a good bench now. You got like people that can come on and score for sure.
Or if a defender gets hurt, when I think Emery really suffered, because he had like all of his defenders getting hurt at the same time. Just people were carrying ACLs like it was going out of style, And then
that's also maybe practice. Like, it's something with Arsenal for so long. Players just getting injured in practice as well. Maybe it seems to be a little less under Arteta. We'll see how that takes like a long pool of data to see like how many players get hurt in practice. But why we just always have so many injuries. So
and they seemed avoidable. I mean, it's hard to
Yeah.
really speculate on that for sure because injuries, a lot of the time, they're just fluke injuries.
Hmm.
But there's something about when you're not fully mentally dialed in, that's when you get injured too. You do
Yeah.
that one thing where you move weird, your foot goes wrong, you're not really paying attention, and there was a general sense at times in the past with Arsenal that they weren't mentally focused
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah. Not concentrating hard enough on the game.
So
Mind
hopefully,
somewhere else. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe that's changed as well. Like that and how they train. You're right. Like those flukes and hamstrings. We used to get hamstring problems all the time in the team, and that's a fitness problem. Like if you're pulling your hamstring, you're just not fit enough. You're not stretching right. You're not working out right. Like there's really no excuse overall unless it's a fluke. And I mean, that means that you just weren't ready for the game.
right.
And we would get those all the time. How many times did Chamberlain tear his hamstring?
Seriously. I mean, just how many of our weapons in the past were were so were utilized to such a small degree because they were injured, you know? I
Hmm.
mean, Ramsey would be injured 6 months out of the year. We all know about Van Persie, but Jack Wilshere or
Wheelchair,
Walcott,
you wheelchair, like you like to say.
yeah, Jack Wilshere,
Jack Wheelchair
wheel him out of there.
is not probably won't feature tomorrow for West Ham. He just
I heard they
he,
wanted
they
him out or
they
something.
did they were wanting to sell him. Well, dude, he's just never blossomed. So much potential as a player, and he was this big name coming through for us when he was a kid at 16. I remember him playing at the Emirates Cup that year, 2008, and he was like the talk of the town, and he just never did anything. He never really became that good of a player. Scored one really amazing team goal.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, well, I mean, it's hard when you play a game, you're injured for 6 months.
Injured.
You play
Yeah.
another game, you're injured for 6 months, you know?
I think
So,
his off-field habits were a problem. He drank and smoked and partied a lot. Was out all the time. Dude liked to, yeah.
gotta be
That'll do it. That'll do it for the players that don't take it seriously.
for sure. And you just get the sense that that type of stuff is not going to fly with Arteta, you know? Like,
Yeah, you
there's
can't
a
be doing that. You can't be doing that in
non-negotiable.
general.
Yeah,
You like those guys. Like, I mean, I know that they drink sometimes. Like we did when we played and stuff. But like, they're not doing it very often. They have like a glass of wine here and there for with dinner.
yeah,
Like, their body like so the players that are out partying and stuff like Bettner used to go out partying all the time too. Lord Bettner.
yeah. Thank God he's off the books. Thank God his wages are off the expense sheet.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, we're definitely a team on the rise. I'm loving what we're seeing this season so far. In that first game, West Ham's going to be a good test tomorrow, but I think you're similar to what you said. It's a similar game to Fulham last week. Um, we both predicted West Ham to struggle this year and potentially go down. I think they're going to go down
Did they
again.
lose last game?
Yeah, they started off with a loss
Yeah,
against Newcastle, 2-0. Newcastle looks good as well this year, though. So
yeah,
they'll be all right. They'll be all right. They'll be top 10. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't think they'll be fighting at the bottom of the table this year. But West Ham didn't look like they put up much of a game, even to them.
Lose 2-0 to Newcastle.
You're in trouble.
We should beat
You're
them,
in
you know?
yeah, you're in trouble in the league in general if you lose to 2-0 to Newcastle.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ozzy. Sorry, Ozzy. Ozzy, if you ever see this, sorry.
Good team, but
Yeah. If they would have got bought by that Saudi billionaire, they would be something. But it looks to be like a good thing to keep them out of the league. They seem to have some negative ties to things.
yeah, I mean, killing people and whatnot.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, 12:30 tomorrow, West Pacific Standard Time, 8:30 kickoff in London. I'll be tuning in.
Then,
I should be. Yeah, we should be awake.
at the crack noon
Tuned into that.
for sure. So
So
let's do it.
yeah,
Arsenal.
let's go. And thanks for joining us this week on episode 4 of
The
ROONS and Miz. Arsenal chats. We
Next
hope to see you next week.
Yeah, or we might have a guest
That's
Liverpool
right.
that we can
Yep.
make fun of.
Yeah, we're gonna mix the chat up next week and have a fellow friend of ours that supports a big Liverpool supporter, good footballer as well. We'll tell him to his face as a Diego, and just good soccer player.
For sure. And it'll be a good game too. And
Oh yeah,
they play Chelsea too. I mean,
yeah.
they
They got
squeaked.
a tough run.
Yeah, they play Chelsea, which will be interesting to sit back and watch as a neutral.
Yep.
And
Sunday morning.
go into that strong. Hopefully, we take care of business tomorrow. We go into Liverpool at Anfield with confidence.
And they haven't lost there in a while.
Yeah,
They're due.
I can't
They're
remember
due.
the last time.
Years. It's years. They haven't lost there for like 3 years or something. So they're due. They're due. And this team is a team that can do it. So
For sure.
I think that's going to be a fun game to watch. So, but yeah, West Ham and next week should be a fun show. So
Definitely. All right, man. Well, I'm
all
sure
right,
we'll be texting during the game tomorrow.
we will. I'm sure.
All right, dude. We'll have a good one.
You too, buddy.
All right.
Nice chat.
You too.
Cheers.
Peace.
Bye.